played Hal Robson-Kanu up front a little bit. Is that a contingency plan possibly for if Shane were to go?
No, it's not a contingency plan. It's somewhere I think he can play. He's always wanted to play there. I spoke to him in the summer. I mean, he had about 4 or 5 clubs coming in for him to take him, and it was quite a long drawn-out affair. He wanted to stay at Reading. He also talked about playing up front. So, I know he can play wide, but I also know he can score and play up front. He's big and he's strong and he's quick. So, who's to say that that couldn't work for us?
Yeah, I think he's speaking to Eamon Dillon the other day. He's played at full back, he's played centre mid, he's played quite a lot of places. Do you think naturally up front will be his position one day?
I don't know. I don't want to label him anything. I wouldn't put him under any pressure. I just want him to go out and enjoy himself. He scored a real good goal the other night. And when I say a good goal, he scored what I'd say a striker's goal. A fantastic cross, and he scored from 3 to 2 yards out. So it was a real good striker's goal. He scored again the week before. So he scored in the reserves for us. So he enjoys playing up front. I know that.
Doesn't seem to feel the pressure or anything in the big games as well. I mean, he came on against Cardiff.
No, he's fine. He doesn't feel the pressure, and that's one thing that we try to alleviate the pressure. What is pressure? We've been involved in a really big game and we didn't manage to win it, and we all survived it. So ever since that, I look at things slightly differently now.
Yeah. And talk about up front. Simon Church missed out the last couple of games with a thigh injury, is it?
Yeah, he's still not right. So hopefully we'll get him back for the start of the season, but he won't be available for Saturday.
Is he kind of training on his own at the moment? Is he?
Yeah, he's doing a bit with Luke Anthony.
Anyone else? I mean, Marcus Williams obviously played the other day. Is everyone else fully fit and up to speed?
Ledge, Mikel Lager won't be fit for Saturday. Hopefully he'll be fit for the Millwall game.
What's his problem?
He's got a slight medial problem, which he got in the kick. He got a little bit feisty towards the back end of the game. We made all the changes, and it was an interesting game the other night. That was a team that I knew when we went there, and they'd be very competitive, and they would want to win, and they've won all their pre-season games, and we've certainly got a team that's competitive and wants to win. So it started to get a little bit feisty, which I had no problem with.
Yeah, Jimmy Kebe rested in that one. I mean, in pre-season, sometimes when players are rested, key players, fans get a little bit panicky, but there's nothing to panic about there with him.
Why are they panicking?
Rumours about being sold as soon
as rumours, yeah. Oh, okay. No, we're just looking after him. He'll be playing on Saturday.
Yeah. What's the latest with his contract talks? I know that's
he would be someone that with a year to go that I would definitely try to extend his contract. So that would be up to the club and him to try and sort that out.
Yeah, I understand discussion with Ian Hart this week as well. Was there? I mean, he's obviously out of contract next season. I guess you wanted to keep him as well. He's been in.
Well, he's got a contract for another year, and we've had a discussion about something about on his money. So that was it really. That's his business and the club's, and that's between them two.
Yeah, and with things shaping up, are you pleased with how pre-season's gone?
Yeah, I'm pleased. It's not as long as last season, which is good. I thought last season sort of went on a sort of extra week too much really. So, it's important we get the game and the right result at Swindon, because we know that's an important game for the fans. We'll look forward to it. I saw Paolo Di Canio yesterday at a managers' meeting, and he looked $1 million. I didn't introduce myself, but I will on Saturday.
What do you think about him coming to management?
Great.
Good for the game?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a great character. He's been a fantastic player, and he's in a different ball game now. So what he's done in the past and been the most fantastic player. Doesn't mean a lot now. It's a different thing he's doing.
Yeah, is it kind of hard to take that step from being a player to jumping into management?
I think it is. But that was just me. I mean, I've been doing this now for a little while now, and I've done a lot of different jobs. So for me, it's worked doing it the way that I've done it. Some players can do it, a lot can't. But it's a completely and utterly different job, different occupation whatsoever, completely different.
It's not like you're just flicking a switch, is it? It's one day go to bed, wake up a manager.
Well, it is like flicking a switch. One day you're a football player, and the next you've got to deal with 20 odd different football players and trying to balance things and do the right thing. So it's a completely different scenario. So it is. That's why I think it's very difficult to flick a switch and become a player, from a player to a manager like that. And it happens, but unless you're Kenny Dalglish, it doesn't happen with too much effect normally.
People talk about young managers kind of struggling in the game to get the job and everything. Do you think that's why people are conscious that it's hard to make that transition to
Well, I think a young manager, if a young manager is worked up, work his way through the youth team, the reserves. It doesn't matter how old you are. Some players, some managers haven't played football particularly, but they've gone down that path. Look at Andre at Chelsea. He didn't play football, but he's been involved in football since he was 16 years of age. So his knowledge is fantastic, and he's 30 odd years of age, and he's got the job at Chelsea. So, but he's been in the game an awful long time.
Just talking about the game and the different aspects. I mean, you're someone who's kind of very keen and clued up in the whole psychological factors of everything. I mean, how much work do you do looking, about how to get the best out of players in that respect, and how much does that lead to your style of?
Well, it's a lot to do with what I'm about, really, because I try to do a lot of it the opposite of how I was dealt with as a player, because it wasn't great. So I try to do the best I can for each individual person, and try to get the best out of them. And it's not easy, because you can only pick 11 players. We've now got a situation where we can only pick 16 in a squad instead of 18, which is the most bizarre, ludicrous rule, which was voted in by the clubs. But every football manager that I've spoken to has said that they would have 7 players on the bench instead of 5. It's an absolute backward step.
Do you know how that's come about?
Well, it's probably something to do with the fact that some clubs can save a few quid on appearance money, but your younger players are going to miss out. It's just a bizarre, ridiculous decision, and I cannot see it. It's a backward step. The fans are going to miss out. Some clubs won't be putting goalkeepers on. You're taking risks. Younger players will miss out. The whole thing is a bizarre decision, and I think if you'd have said to 2 younger players, for example, well, you've got a choice, you've got appearance money to be on the bench, or you're going to cut it back to 5, or no appearance money to be on the bench, and the players would say, well, no appearance money, because they want to be involved. So, why have 7? You can have 7, but if you want 5, have 5. Why make that decision? It's just a non-football people decision, absolutely ludicrous.
Yeah, I think that's reflected. I've seen a couple of messages on Twitter from a few of the players saying they didn't really agree with it either.
Didn't really agree. No football player would agree with it, and no manager would agree with it worth his salt. If you've got a maximum of 7, have 7. And last year some teams had 4 or 5. Fine, no problem. Why make that decision? Why change it? It was a non-football people decision that was made. It was made when I'm sure a hell of a lot of managers were away. But I know. Is there any way to appeal it? I mean, I spoke to them. Well, I was at a managers' meeting yesterday. I said, "Why can't we change it?" We said, "We can't." And I said, "Why?" So I don't know the answer to that. But that's what it is. That's the rules now. Yeah, it's just nonsense. It's just a really poor decision.
Yeah. I'll talk about that. What about the multi-ball then? What's your?
Multi-ball, that's fine. Basically, I think people think that some people use multi-ball better than others. We've been accused of using it in a wrong way, which we never have over the times that we've been fair to both teams, and you've watched enough games to know that we get the ball back on the pitch for both teams as quick as we do. But I'm not overly bothered about that one way or the other.
A certain manager seems to think that sometimes Reading had some kind of training camp to train these people up like Wimbledon ball boys or something. But it was nothing.
Well, no, but we trained the ball boys to get the ball back to the opposition, to our team, as quickly as it went out. That's what we did, because we like to play at a certain pace. So if that's an advantage, then that's the way we play. That won't change, and we'll be training the fans to get the ball back really quickly if they can.
I was about to say, you must be urging the fans now.
Well, all I would say is if we got the fans to get the ball back onto both sides as quickly as possible, because that's how we play. Fantastic. So we might have an even more advantage, because we'll have 20,000 getting it back now.
That's brilliant.
Thanks.
Cool.